When Rapala announced the Shad Rap Elite SRE55, a lot of anglers were curious about whether it would live up to the name. The original Shad Rap is a legend, one of those lures that's been around forever and continues to catch fish year after year. So when Rapala adds Elite to the title, expectations are high. After spending some time with this lure, I can say it's definitely a step forward in some areas, but like most lures, it isn't without its quirks. The first thing you noticed when holding the SRE 55 was that it has a nice build. It has that familiar balsa feel, but the addition of the through wire construction makes it sturdier than the classic Shad Rap. You can tell this lure was designed to take a beating. You can certainly find older balsa baits that split in two after a few hard strikes, so the reinforcement here is definitely a welcome upgrade. That said, the tougher build gives it a slightly different feel. Some anglers argue it loses just a bit of the touch of that delicate charm that the original has. Personally, I think it's a fair trade off if it means landing more fish without worrying about the lure falling apart in your hand. On the water, the action is exactly what you'd expect from a Rapala, that signature wounded minnow wobble that looks just so natural at a range of speeds. Whether you're crawling it slow, running it at a steady retrieve, or even trolling with it, the SRE 55 does the job. I found that it really does shine at medium speeds where it has a nice balance of wobble and shimmy. If there's a downside, it's that when you really crank it fast at high speeds, the lure can lose a bit of its tight track, which means frustrated anglers who like to burn crankbaits might have a bit of difficulty with it. For me, that's not a deal breaker, but it's worth pointing out. The finishes on this lure, while they're definitely stunning, Rapala went into this high definition mode, metallic gilded patterns, and they both look fantastic once you have your hand on them. And underwater, well, that's just something else. Colors like Fire Tiger, Bluegill, and Helsinki Shad pop in stained water, while more natural options like that Crawdad can fool a fish in clear conditions. The only problem is durability. After a few sessions banging this lure into rocks and timber, you'll definitely notice the finish starting to chip. It doesn't stop the lure from catching fish, but if you like your baits to look brand new for a long time, this one's probably not for you. Another area where the Elite shines is casting distance. At 2¼ inches long and weighing 1/4 ounce, it's heavier than the original Shad Rap, which was notorious for being hard to throw, especially in the wind. The SRE 55 carries a lot better and feels easier to place right where you want it. Don't expect it to fly like a lipless crankbait, but compared to its predecessors, the improvement is noticeable and much appreciated. Now let's talk about the hooks. Out of the box, the SRE 55 comes with those VMC inline hybrid trebles. They're sharp, but honestly, they can sometimes feel too small for a bait that's supposed to handle bigger fish. You can certainly have a few fish shake free, and I'm not the only one that's had that happen. Many anglers decide to swap them out for size 4s, perhaps, and that will give you a bit of peace of mind, but it's not that necessary. It's not a huge fix, but at some point, you might need it. You never know. Obviously, I would wish the Rapala might have the opportunity to go a little bit bigger sometimes, but I'm not always trying to get those giant lunkers out of the lake. So what's the problem? Well, not many. And what's the bottom line? Well, the Shad Rap Elite SRE 55 really has a solid upgrade from that original. It's got a classic feel, but a few extra bells and whistles. It's tougher, casts farther, and still has that Rapala action that we trust. The colors are beautiful, and the lure flat out catches fish. On the flip side, yes, the hooks could be better, the finishes don't hold up forever, and high speed, well, the action isn't perfect. But it will cost you a little bit more, but it's not really that much, which makes some folks wonder, why not go for it? For me, the SRE 55 has earned a spot in my tackle box. It's not flawless, but no lure really is. If you're a fan of the original Shad Rap and want a version that's more durable and casts a little better, this is a great choice.